Here's your First Warn Weather forecast first, sponsored by Anderson Collision Center. Visit driveanderson.com.
Our rain chance from early this morning continues to push out to our east and taking its place a much cooler and windier air mass. Now we still are left with the wind similar to what we had yesterday, but this time around that wind coming from a different direction. So it's already dropping our temperatures down into the 40s. We're now at 47 in Rockford and Freeport and in Rochelle, 48 in DeKalb, 48 in Janesville. Even cooler when you look up to the north and northwest, 42 out in Galena. Through the rest of the night tonight, those temperatures will continue to drop, eventually reaching down into the 30s. But we will remain cool and breezy for a lot of that trick-or-treating here into the night tonight. I'll let you know when the sunshine and some degree of warmth returns, coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
Right now at 5, the victim of a deadly Rockford hit and run identified. Police continue to investigate with no word of a potential suspect.
Plus, good news for the Rockford housing market. New numbers show inventory is on its way back up.
And the Rockford Art Museum prepares to reopen. Their first exhibit back on display after much needed improvements.
Live from WTVO 17, this is Eyewitness News at 5.
Good evening, I'm Mimi Murphy.
And I'm Wendell Edwards. Thank you for joining us on this Halloween.
New tonight at 5, the Winnebago County coroner identifies the woman killed in a hit and run on Charles Street.
49-year-old Catherine Belrock died due to her injuries from that accident. A caller reported a body near a sidewalk on Charles Street around 12:15 yesterday morning. She was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, police did find debris from a car near the victim. At this time, no suspects have been identified. Rockford police continue to investigate tonight. Also tonight, DeKalb police announced charges of a man accused of stabbing employees at a car dealership.
Charles Trapicchio is in police custody at a Rockford hospital. Police say the 32-year-old will be transferred to the DeKalb County Jail as soon as he's discharged. He faces a long list of charges, including armed violence. Last Wednesday, Trapicchio reportedly stabbed an employee at a dealership on Sycamore Road. When he moved towards police with a knife, he was shot. He is in stable condition at the hospital. The employee was treated at the scene. Police say Trapicchio was on a pretrial release at the time of the attack from a domestic incident earlier this month. Illinois State Police say the incident is still under investigation.
In Beloit, police are searching for a suspect after a bank robbery there. Reports say yesterday around 4:40, a man threatened employees with force at the First Mid-Bank on Cranston Road. That man demanded cash and left with an undisclosed amount. Police have confirmed no one was injured. Detectives are actively investigating this robbery. If you have any information, contact the Greater Beloit Area Crime Stoppers.
A Freeport man's in custody after reportedly breaking into a home while the owner was inside. 50-year-old Anthony Sutton is in the Stevenson County Jail. Around 2:30 this morning, police were called to a home on South Float Avenue for a break-in. Police arrived and arrested Sutton. The homeowner was not hurt. Sutton faces charges of residential burglary and criminal trespassing. It's been a record-setting year for the Rockford housing market, and new numbers show another historic change.
Home inventories have increased the most in over a decade. Eyewitness News reporter Blake Dietz joins us now live in the studio. Blake, what could this mean for the market?
And Wendell, Mimi, I spoke with Rockford real estate experts who tell me this is yet another sign of a healthy market. September data shows over 100 more houses on the market than last September. That increase has slowed home prices from continuing their rapid rise. However, average home prices in the area are still up $24,000 year over year. Connor Brown of the Northwest Association of Realtors says buyers could begin to take advantage.
Demand will still be there, but we'll also probably see a slowdown in our price increases too. We can't be the hottest real estate market in America forever. So we're going to see that number, probably slow down a little bit. And that's okay because, ultimately what we want is a healthy, balanced market.
More from a realtor who says she is seeing her offers dry up. That's coming up in the full story at 6. Mimi.
All right, thanks, Blake. On the campaign trail, the presidential election's likely to be won or lost in the 7 swing states. And each swing state has swing counties that could give insights into how the race is going.
Eyewitness News is your local election headquarters. Blake Berman has highlights in some of the counties we need to watch on election night.
They're the swing states, swing counties. I'm Blake Berman with News Nation. Only a few days to go until Election Day. And while results come in from the 7 key swing states on election night, the Decision Desk HQ team will also be watching key counties within those states. Now, here are 7 of the counties that could give us early clues on how the race is breaking. We'll focus here on 2, starting with Nash County, North Carolina. That's in the northern part of the Tar Heel state. In 2016, former President Trump won the county, but President Biden flipped it in 2020. African Americans make up 41% of Nash County's population. And here is Kent County, Michigan. That's where Grand Rapids is located. Trump won it in 2016, but in 2020, the county split its ticket, picking President Biden and then choosing a Republican for Senate. Now, this county could provide clues about how moderate voters are breaking. I'm Blake Berman, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
After nearly a year of renovations, the Rockford Art Museum, or RAM, is almost ready to reopen. The Art Museum is located at the Riverfront Museum Park on North Main Street, along with the Discovery Center. The $6 million HVAC renovations now will allow the museum to improve climate control and better preserve its artwork. When the museum opens, it will be showcasing an exhibit featuring items in its permanent collection.
Really important to group them by color, but not only that, but show all of the pieces that we've got in different focus areas. So it's not just modern and contemporary. We've got black art from the American South. We're going to have some glass. We've got American masters. So we've just got little pieces, great pieces from our permanent collection that we pulled up.
The museum will host its homecoming gala on November 9th before reopening to the public on the 14th.
Tonight is your last chance to see the Festival of Frights at Sinisippi Park, and they do have a special showcase for their final night. This 1,200-pound pumpkin is being carved by Rockford's master pumpkin carver, Lincoln Bias. It's one of a couple of projects he's completed since being back in his hometown, including an exhibit at Clem Arboretum earlier this month. The Festival of Frights light show is open until 9 tonight and is free to the public. Donations are accepted to support local children in need. Rockford trick-or-treaters are getting ready to go. Trick-or-treating goes from 5:30 until 7:30 in Loves Park, Cherry Valley, and McChesney Park. They all have those same times. Winnebago hours are now until 7. Trick-or-treating's open until 8 in Belvedere. Freeport, Beloit, and South Beloit all go from now until 7. You can go to our website, mystateline.com, to see when trick-or-treating ends for most cities and towns in our area. Coming up after the break, the FBI is investigating ballot box fires in 2 states.
Officials working to identify impacted voters and get them replacement ballots.
And coming up at 6, a Rockford garage destroyed by an early morning fire. Officials estimate up to $10,000 in damages.
Our temperatures warmed into the 60s, but that was early this morning. Actually, just shortly after midnight, most of the afternoon was spent closer to the 40s and 50s. I'll let you know how long this wind and chill will stick around before we see it replaced by warmth and more rain on the way, coming up in just a few minutes.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Mimi Murphy, Wendell Edwards, Scott Leber, and meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
Authorities are investigating ballot drop box fires in 2 states that led to hundreds of damaged ballots.
Lawmakers and the White House call the violence unacceptable and are encouraging people to still cast their ballots. Maddie Beertemple reports.
Search for a suspect is underway after someone set fire to 2 ballot drop boxes in Oregon and Washington Monday. Portland police say a 3rd fire earlier this month is believed to be connected. They say the suspect is an experienced metal worker and may be planning more attacks.
It is unacceptable. It is unacceptable.
The White House condemned the incidents and said the FBI is investigating.
Every eligible American has the right to make their voices heard.
Local officials say the fire in Vancouver, Washington damaged 488 ballots. The county is identifying impacted voters to receive replacement ballots. In Portland, Oregon, where Congresswoman Suzanne Bonamici represents, 3 ballots were damaged.
That's 3 too many, but there is a way for the elections office to contact the voters and to have them come in and do a replacement ballot.
Bonamici says security has since stepped up around drop boxes with cameras or law enforcement. She's still encouraging voters to cast their ballots.
Please don't be afraid. This is an important election.
The devices used to set the fires were marked with the phrase "Free Gaza," according to a law enforcement official who spoke to the Associated Press. Other cities are on high alert.
We will pay special attention to ballot box drop-off locations.
Washington, D.C. Police Chief Pamela Smith says there are no known threats right now, but the city is prepared with more police presence.
And we will not stand for any instance of voter intimidation.
In Washington, I'm Maddie Beertemple.
Here in the state line, it was a windy day, gusts upwards of 40 miles an hour.
We were supermen and women. We were just flying everywhere. Meteorologist Jordan Wolf will let us know how the weather will look this Halloween night. His full forecast is next.
Now, your First Warn weather forecast from meteorologist Jordan Wolf.
It has been a really windy day in the state line with some of our strongest wind gusts of the season throughout much of this afternoon. Some of those wind gusts peaking upwards of 40 or even 50 miles per hour. Here's just a few of the strongest ones that we saw throughout the day today. 53 miles per hour, the strongest gust in Rockford, 51 miles per hour in Monroe and out in Galena. 49 miles per hour, the strongest wind gust observed over there in Freeport. Here now, those wind gusts are still pretty strong, but not quite as strong as those maximum gusts, upwards of 35 or even 40 miles per hour in some spots. The strongest right now, 45 miles per hour in Monroe. And that wind is helping to draw in a much cooler air mass and also making things feel a lot chillier here into the evening. Those winds will remain fairly strong for a bit longer, but will start to ease once we head toward midnight tonight. And as a result, a wind advisory remains in effect for all these highlighted counties in this light tan color that you see. That's all of our southern Wisconsin counties, as well as anywhere along and east of I-39. That wind advisory remains in effect until 10 o'clock tonight. We do see that cooler air mass really being drawn in with this very strong low pressure system sitting up to our north, even producing some snow showers in portions of Minnesota and into northern Wisconsin. Now, it's not quite cold enough for any of that snow here, and we are not quite seeing as much of that moisture, but we did see some rain along that cold front earlier today, and that cold front now drawing in that much cooler air mass. Just compared to where we were 24 hours ago, those temperatures are nearly 30 degrees cooler than where we were just this time yesterday. That is leading to those numbers down in the 40s for many of us. 48 right now in Rockford, 47 Rochelle and in DeKalb, 47 also in Freeport, 42 out in Galena, and those wind chills not making it feel much better. Starting to break out those wind chill graphics as that makes it feel much closer to the low and mid 30s for many of us. Here into the rest of our evening tonight, if you're heading out for any of that trick-or-treating, it is going to be a chilly one. Temperatures dropping through the 40s and into the low 40s by the late evening hours. Those wind chill values still settling down into the 30s during that time. Winds will start to ease, but not until we get closer to the midnight hours tonight. That is as high pressure starts to take over, and that will actually continue to drop those temperatures down to 33 for the overnight low. A fairly windy evening, but clouds and those winds will decrease as that night progresses on later and later. We remain underneath that high pressure regime as we head into the weekend, which actually leads to a lot of sunshine for tomorrow, as well as the first half of Saturday. But as you note, a lot of that rain and moisture beginning to build right back in as we head into the second half of Saturday and going into early Sunday morning. And that rain actually looks fairly widespread, and we could see some of that rain sticking around for a little bit longer as we head into the early parts of next week. So we do have that sunshine, at least for the first half of our weekend. 53 degrees tomorrow, but 33 that overnight low underneath mostly sunny skies. 60 degrees for Saturday, 48 that low temperature, but late Saturday night into Sunday morning, that's when we start to see that rain begin to work its way in. And that rain may stick around for a little bit longer as we head into the early part of next week as well. So we are starting to see that climb in those temperatures behind the cold front that we have now, up to 60 degrees for Saturday, 61 on Sunday, but that then is followed by a lot of this rain that will be working its way through. Multiple days of rain, and it does look like we will see probably a washout for at least 2 out of those 3 days. We could even see a few storms there on Monday, but drying out as we head into the second half of next week.
Jordan, thank you.
Scott's next with sports. The White Sox new manager tells us why he didn't back away from taking over a team that's coming off a record season for losses.
And if he had the chance to do it all over again, with the Bears offensive coordinator still put the ball in his backup center's hands down by the goal.
Now sports with sports director Scott Lever.
Now that the World Series is over, the White Sox have made it official. Former Texas Rangers associate manager Will Venable is their new manager. Not many guys would be fired up about taking over a team that lost 121 games, but Venable is ready to tackle the challenge.
I look at all of these jobs and all these opportunities as a challenge. I think that I don't think that there's one managerial job that is easy. All these jobs come with their unique challenges, and I'm excited about the challenges that are presented here with this group. I know we're going to struggle with some stuff, but if we continue to go out there and compete, if we continue to work together and focus on the things we know win games, then we can overcome a lot together.
Overshadowed by the Hail Mary pass that burned the Bears Sunday was the other bad play by the Bears, the decision near the goal line to hand the ball off to backup center Doug Kramer. The handoff was fumbled and probably cost the Bears a touchdown. So offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, the guy who made that play call, was asked today by reporters if he stands by that decision, and his answer was a bit shocking.
Every play call that doesn't work out, you go back and look at it and see, was it the best call in that situation? And I think I'll always look inwardly first. And every play call that doesn't work out, obviously you're going to have a sense of, what could I have done better as a play caller? What situations could I put those guys in?
Shane, the criticism of the Kramer call, whether it worked or not, was that it was too critical of a situation to give the ball to a center who's never had a carry in an NFL game or probably a college game for that matter. What's your response to that?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I felt confident in the moment in that call.
There you go. Jordan Love made progress today for the Packers. He did practice but was limited, taking it easy on his injured groin. The Ice Hogs have another double weekend. They're going to play Grand Rapids tomorrow night and home against the Chicago Wolves Saturday. There's two more chances for Blackhawks top draft pick Artem Levshinov to get his feet wet at the AHL level. And for a guy who just turned 19, he was solid in his debut games last weekend. I asked him what the biggest challenge is that he faces at such a young age.
I don't know, actually. I don't think about that. Just try to play hockey, try to do my job on the ice. That's it. I mean, yeah.
You are the highest drafted player from Belarus. Is there a lot of buzz back in Belarus about you?
Yeah, for sure. They're so excited for me that I started playing my first games. Yeah, they're just waiting for my main debut in the main league.
The main league being the NHL. We'll be right back. The wind and the chill sticks around a bit longer, so make sure you are bundling up for any of that late evening trick-or-treating. Temperatures down around that freezing mark overnight tonight, but sunshine brings us back up into the 50s tomorrow and near that 60-degree mark early into the weekend. That'll then be followed by our next rain chances moving in starting early Sunday morning, late Saturday night. Could see multiple waves of rain between Sunday and Tuesday.
Thank you, Jordan.
And thanks for joining us. We'll see you again at 6.